Hello, dear friend. Do you remember the last time you held a CD in your hands? Maybe it was a favorite song from your younger days, or a family photo slideshow burned onto a disc by a grandchild for your birthday. Now those shiny discs sit quietly in drawers, catching the light under a soft layer of dust, long forgotten, long unused. But today, we're going to bring them back to life. We're going to turn them into little pieces of joy and beauty. Picture this. It's a peaceful morning. You're sitting on an old wooden chair beneath your porch, a warm cup of mint tea in your hand. The wind dances through your garden, and hanging from a nearby beam, a CD wind chime twinkles and glimmers like silver butterflies in the sun. You didn't have to buy anything new. You didn't need to be young or strong. Just a little imagination, a caring touch, and the desire to make something beautiful again. We live in a gentle era now, one that values what's been around, what's been through the years. These CDs once held our music, our memories, our moments. And now they can hold sunlight, sparkle, and charm as garden decor, home accents, or even tiny works of recycled art. The projects I'll share with you today are all easy on the hands, kind to your body, and forgiving with materials. No heavy lifting. No bending, just light, joyful creativity, perfect for hands that have written stories, raised families, and planted so many gardens of love over time. So, if you have some old CDs tucked away in a drawer somewhere, it's time to bring them out. Together we'll give them, and perhaps even parts of ourselves, a brand new purpose. Just like us, they may be older now, but they still shine. Shall we begin, dear friend? Remember those little wind chimes your grandmother used to hang on the porch, the ones that clinked gently whenever a breeze passed through? Now imagine that same soft music, but with a shimmer of light dancing across the garden. That's exactly what a handful of old CDs can become. To make your own sparkling CD wind chimes, gather a few unused CDs, the ones collecting dust in the back of your drawer. You'll also need some clear fishing line or sturdy thread, a small wooden ring, or even a metal embroidery hoop, and if you'd like a few beads or bells for extra charm. Start by cutting the fishing line into 5 or 6 equal lengths long enough to dangle at different heights. Thread each CD carefully through the center hole and tie a knot so it stays in place. If you'd like a little extra sparkle, you can also glue small beads or buttons around the edges or onto the surface of each CD. Then tie the other ends of the lines to your wooden ring or hoop, spacing them out evenly. Now create a final loop at the top so you can hang the whole piece from a porch beam tree branch or shepherd's hook in the garden. When the wind catches it, you'll hear the gentle click of the discs brushing against each other, soft, calming, like the ticking of a memory. And the light? Oh, the light. As the sun moves through the day, the CDs reflected in 100 directions, scattering tiny glimmers across your garden wall, your path, or your patio chair. It feels like your space is wrapped in stardust. This project is wonderfully simple. No tools, no heavy lifting. You can sit comfortably at your table, take your time, and enjoy the quiet moment of making something out of what was once forgotten. And just like that, a stack of old CDs becomes a dance of light and sound, reminding us that beauty doesn't have to be bought. Sometimes it's already there, waiting quietly to be noticed again. Still useful, still lovely, just like you. Have you ever admired those mosaic mirrors in garden boutiques or craft shops? The ones with glittering little tiles that catch the light like stained glass. Well, you can make your own version at home, no fancy tiles required. Just a few old CDs and a touch of patience. Think of that small mirror you might have tucked away. Maybe the one from the back of an old cabinet or a thrift store, find that's seen better days. Now imagine giving it a frame that glows like morning dew. That's what happens when you break CDs into shimmering fragments and arrange them like puzzle pieces around the edge. Start by carefully cutting or breaking your CDs into small pieces. A strong pair of scissors works fine, or you can gently snap them into natural shapes. If the CD begins to split into layers, that's okay. It adds more texture and variety. Just be sure to wear gloves or protect your hands and work slowly, piece by piece. Next, take a plain mirror with a simple frame or even a flat piece of wood with a round mirror glued at the center. Use craft glue or a hot glue gun to attach the CD fragments around the frame shiny side up. There's no need for perfect spacing. In fact, the uneven edges and mixed angles are what make it truly special. Each little shard reflects light differently, creating a shimmering halo around your mirror. If you'd like, you can fill in any gaps with a little grout, or even paint between the pieces to soften the look. But many people love leaving it open, raw, radiant, and imperfectly beautiful. Once it's dry, hang it by the back door in your hallway or right outside near a potted plant. Let it catch the sunlight in the afternoon, or reflect candlelight in the evening. And as you glance at your reflection framed by something once discarded, perhaps you'll be reminded that our lives are a mosaic too, made of shiny parts and shadowed corners, memories and reinventions. And even when we feel a little broken, we can still come together into something beautiful. You gave that mirror and those old CDs a second chance. And in doing so, you gave a little gift back to yourself too. Do you remember the joy of hanging baskets on the front porch, geraniums spilling over the edge, their blossoms catching the breeze like little flags of color? Today, we'll recreate that feeling, but with a whimsical twist, using old CDs to craft charming mini planters that shine in the sun. This project is perfect for those who enjoy growing small succulents, air plants, or even faux flowers. It requires no bending, no soil mess, and just a few simple materials. Some CDs, a bit of string or twine, strong glue, and small plastic cups, or recycled containers that can act as tiny pots. Start by choosing 2 CDs per planter. These will be the base and the top cover. Sandwich the small cup or container between them so that the CDs act as the supportive walls. Make sure the container is glued securely between the 2 discs. You can leave part of it peeking out the top like a blossom emerging from a bud. Once dry, poke 3 small holes evenly spaced around the top CD and thread through some twine or yarn to create a hanging triangle. Gather the threads together and tie them at the top into a loop, making your planter easy to hang from a garden hook, porch railing, or tree branch. Now comes the fun part, decorating. You can leave the CDs as they are for a sleek silver look, or decorate them with paint pens, faux pearls, or pressed flowers under a layer of clear glue. If you enjoy color, try wrapping the twine with a ribbon or weaving in a few beads for an extra flourish. Once your planter is ready, fill it gently with your plant of choice. For seniors who prefer light upkeep, air plants or faux succulents work beautifully. They don't need water or soil, but they still bring a lively energy to the space. When the light hits your CD planter just right, it sparkles like morning dew. And the best part? It weighs almost nothing, so there's no strain on your hands or shoulders when hanging it up. It's amazing how a CD once spinning inside a player now cradles life, color, and light. From storing songs to holding flowers, it finds a new purpose. Just like many of us do time and again. Simple, gentle, joyful, and made with care. Have you ever noticed how light can change your whole mood? A single beam of sunlight through the trees can make even an ordinary moment feel like a blessing. With this next idea, you'll turn a few old CDs into a sun-catching mobile, a gentle, glimmering piece of art that brings light and movement into your garden space. This mobile is especially lovely when hung from a tree branch, a shepherd's hook, or the corner of a pergola. It's easy to make use as only light materials, and best of all, it comes to life with every breeze and ray of sun. Start with 5 to 7 CDs. You can leave them as they are, or decorate one side using permanent markers, glass paint, or decoupage techniques. For example, you might glue pressed flowers to one side and seal them with a layer of clear glue or Mod Podge. The other side will reflect the sun like a mirror ball, while the front shows your chosen design. Using fishing line or fine twine thread through the center hole of each CD, leaving about 8 to 12 inches of line between them. You can also add a few glass beads, bells, or tiny charms between the CDs to catch even more light or sound. If your hands are steady, try tying each one at slightly different lengths to create a soft cascade. Next, attach all the strands to a horizontal base, something simple like a small driftwood branch coat hanger or repurposed wire frame. Tie the strands securely and add a central loop at the top for hanging. Once complete, step back and admire the way the mobile dances in the sunlight. As it spins, tiny beams reflect across your patio wall or garden path like a slow-moving constellation. You don't need to move anything heavy, dig or build, Just sit comfortably with a few supplies and let your creativity do the rest. This mobile becomes more than just decoration. It's a little reminder to let the light in to make room for movement, change, and quiet beauty. Every turn of the wind becomes a tiny celebration of life continuing to move forward, gently and gracefully. And perhaps as you sip your tea nearby, you'll look up and think, who would have guessed these old CDs could dance again? But they can, and so can we. Do you remember stepping barefoot across warm garden paths in summer, the way each stone held the memory of sunlight? Now imagine those stepping stones sparkling with tiny flecks of color like scattered stars. That's what happens when you turn old CDs into a mosaic and bring a little light to the ground beneath your feet. This project lets you decorate plain pavers or flat stones with broken CD pieces, creating shimmering garden markers, borders, or walkway accents. It's surprisingly easy and doesn't require lifting anything heavy or working on your knees if you do it on a table first. Begin by gathering your old CDs and cutting them into small, irregular pieces. Try using a pair of strong scissors, but go slow. The CDs may splinter, so it's best to wear gloves or lay a towel over them for safety. Each shard will have its own unique pattern of color and shine. Next, choose a garden stone or concrete paver. You might already have a few around the house, or you can pick up one or two from a local garden center or even the Dollar Tree. Using a strong craft glue or outdoor adhesive for long-lasting results, begin placing your CD pieces along the surface of the stone, arranging them like a glittering puzzle. You can form a simple sunburst, a swirl, a heart, or just go completely abstract, whatever brings you joy. Leave a little space between the pieces, just like real mosaic tile work. Once everything is in place and dry, you can seal it with a clear waterproof sealant to protect the shine from weather and wear. Now comes the best part, placing your artwork in the garden. You don't have to bury it or do any hard labor. You can simply rest the decorated stone against a flower pot, use it as a garden border, or place it at the foot of your favorite chair. Every time the sun hits it, you'll see flashes of color glimmer across the surface, a little burst of life in an ordinary patch of dirt. It's a quiet kind of joy, and one that doesn't demand much of your body, only your patience and your heart. These stones become like little anchors in your space, grounding you, guiding your steps, and reminding you that even the smallest forgotten things can shine again with just a bit of care. Just like memories, just like us, they remain colorful and full of light even after all these years. Have you ever found yourself in the garden trying to remember whether that little sprout was basil or mint? Or maybe you've planted zinnias and marigolds side by side and forgotten which is which. With this next idea, those old CDs in your drawer can become beautiful shimmering garden labels, helping both your memory and your plants shine. This DIY is one of the simplest, but also one of the most charming. It combines practicality with a bit of sparkle, and best of all, it's something you can do at a table in the comfort of your home, no bending required. Start by gathering a few old CDs, one for each plant or section of your garden you'd like to label. You'll also need a permanent marker, paint pens, work best a wooden skewer or bamboo stick, and a bit of strong glue. Begin by writing the plant name on the shiny side of the CD. You can keep it simple, basil, tomato, lavender, or get creative and draw little vines, leaves, or floral borders around the letters. If your handwriting is shaky, don't worry, that little wobble is part of the charm. It shows this label was made by loving hands. Next, glue the CD to the top of the wooden skewer so that it looks like a little garden sign. Let it dry fully. If you'd like extra strength or weather resistance, you can cover the written side with clear tape or sealant spray. Now go outside and gently press the stick into the soil near the plant it belongs to. As the sun moves across the garden, the CD will catch the light, drawing your eye to it and giving a touch of whimsy to your beds or pots. These labels are especially helpful for container gardens, windowsill herbs, or raised beds. And they make your garden feel more personal, more tended to, as if each plant had its own little name tag made with love. Over time, the writing may fade a bit, just like everything in nature does. But you can always refresh them, repaint, or make new ones when the seasons turn. It's part of the ongoing rhythm, grow, rest, begin again. And just like that, something meant for digital music or computer files now helps you remember where you planted your marigolds. Once forgotten, now part of your garden story. There's something comforting about sitting on the porch with a cold glass of lemonade or a warm cup of coffee. The quiet moment, the clink of the spoon, the light breeze. Now imagine placing that drink on a handmade coaster, one that sparkles just a little in the sun, made from a CD that used to hold your favorite songs. It's a small joy, but a meaningful one. This project is perfect for making use of those single scratched or mismatched CDs you may have lying around. Each one can become a functional little piece of art, something practical, beautiful, and made entirely by you. To begin, select a few CDs with clean, uncracked surfaces. Wash and dry them gently. You'll need a bit of felt or soft cork for the backing and some decorative materials of your choice: washi tape, paint pens, fabric scraps, or even a simple layer of clear glue over pressed flowers. First, trace the CD onto your felt or cork backing and cut out a matching circle. Use glue to firmly attach the backing to the shiny side of the CD. This helps keep the coaster from sliding and protects your table from scratches. Next, turn your attention to the top. Some people prefer to leave the reflective surface bare, letting it catch the light naturally. Others enjoy decorating it with simple mandala patterns, stenciled leaves, or colorful dot painting. If your crafty decoupage with napkins or pages from old garden magazines can be lovely too. Once your decoration is complete, you may want to seal it with a clear waterproof finish, especially if you plan to use it outdoors or with cold drinks that might sweat. These coasters are lightweight, easy to store, and wonderfully giftable. You can stack a set of 4, tie them with ribbon, and offer them to a neighbor or friend as a handmade gesture. Or keep them right on your own patio table, ready for morning tea or a sunset glass of wine. And every time you set your drink down, you'll feel that familiar sense of usefulness, the kind that doesn't come from spending money or buying new things, but from giving something old a second life. The CD that once played lullabies or summer road trip tunes now becomes a quiet part of your daily ritual. Still holding space, still serving you, just in a new and gentle way. Do you remember how as children we used to chase butterflies across open fields, arms outstretched, hearts light? There's something magical about those gentle wings, and now you can bring that magic into your garden using something as simple as an old CD. With a little snipping and shaping, a CD can become a radiant butterfly that never flies away. These butterfly garden stakes are light, eye-catching, and accessible for all ages, especially those of us who prefer gentle crafting at a table with a cup of tea nearby. To start, take 1 or 2 CDs and cut them into butterfly wing shapes. If you're unsure about the design, you can draw a simple wing outline on paper and trace it onto the disc before cutting. A sturdy pair of scissors works best, and it's wise to wear gloves or gently warm the CD first to prevent cracking. Each wing should glimmer, catching the light like real wings in motion. Next, prepare the butterfly's body. You can use a wooden craft stick, a painted popsicle stick, or even a smooth twig. Glue the wings on either side, angling them slightly to give a fluttering effect. If you'd like, add 2 tiny antennae using wire or curled twine and decorate the wings with dot patterns, glitter glue, or sequins. Once your butterfly is assembled, and dry glue the base of its body to a small garden stake, a chopstick skewer, or even a reusable straw works well. This lets your creation stand tall in a flower pot, window box, or soft garden soil. Now, when the sun shines on your garden, these shimmering butterflies will sparkle and glow, moving ever so slightly in the breeze, just enough to feel alive. And best of all, they won't fly away or fade, no matter how long you leave them outside. For seniors with limited mobility or those who spend more time indoors, these butterfly stakes also make wonderful indoor window decorations. Just press the base into a planter and let the wings catch the light of day. It's amazing, isn't it? From the forgotten drawer of technology to the blooming world of flowers, this CD has traveled far. And in its new form, it reminds us of the same truth we all hold inside. We can be reshaped, remade, and still shine. Sometimes brighter than before, because light always finds a way through, especially when it lands on something made with love. Think back to a time when you watched the sunrise from your back porch, the way the sky slowly changed from soft lavender to golden fire. That quiet, expanding warmth is what inspired this next idea, turning old CDs into a radiant sunburst wall piece that brings light to any blank space inside or out. This project makes a stunning statement without requiring any expensive tools or materials. It's perfect for decorating a garden wall, patio fence, or even the side of a shed. And the best part, you can do all the crafting at a comfortable table with no lifting or bending required. To begin, collect around 12 to 20 CDs, depending on how large you'd like your sunburst to be. You'll also need a round base, something lightweight like a cardboard circle foam board or a wooden plaque from a dollar store. This will serve as the center of your sun. Start by covering the base with fabric paint or gold foil paper, anything that adds a warm, sunny feel. Then begin arranging your CDs around the circle like rays, spacing them out evenly and allowing them to fan outward. You can overlap them slightly or leave space between for a more open design. Attach each CD securely with hot glue or strong craft adhesive, shiny side up. If you'd like to personalize your sunburst further, feel free to paint the CDs with translucent glass paint, decorate them with metallic markers, or even add pressed flowers sealed under clear glue. For a rustic twist, you can also wrap the outer edges of the base in twine or raffia. Once your sunburst is complete, attach a string or hook to the back and hang it where it can catch the light. Even indirect sunlight will bring out subtle flashes and colors. The CDs reflect and bounce light beautifully, creating a soft glow that changes throughout the day. Every time you see your creation, it becomes a little reminder that warmth and beauty can radiate from unexpected places. Something once thought obsolete, a CD that no longer plays, is now a star on your wall, offering quiet brilliance to your space. It's a small but powerful act, taking what's old and giving it purpose again. A gesture of hope, a celebration of light, and perhaps a reflection of you shining gently in your own golden season. If you've ever found little peck marks in your tomatoes or watched a clever bird tugging at your seedlings, you know the challenge of protecting your garden's hard work. But nature has a gentle solution, and it begins with the shimmer of an old CD catching the wind. This next idea is one of the most practical ways to reuse CDs in the garden, transforming them into reflective bird deterrents. It's safe, simple, and surprisingly beautiful when the sunlight dances across your plants in a cascade of silver flickers. To start, gather a few old CDs, as many as you'd like, to hang across your garden beds or near fruiting plants. You'll also need some fishing line, jute twine, or even strips of ribbon, along with a hole punch or sturdy needle. Punch or poke a small hole near the edge of each CD opposite the center hole, so you'll have 2 points to attach string. Thread a 12 to 18-inch length of twine or fishing line through the top hole and knot it securely to make a hanger. Then tie the bottom hole of the CD to another length of twine or ribbon, adding a second CD, a bead, or even a small bell if you like a little garden music. This makes a tiered effect, letting the CDs spin and catch the breeze from multiple angles. Once ready, hang these reflectors near your vegetable garden, berry bushes, or potted herbs. You can tie them to tree branches, plant supports, or shepherd's hooks. The CD's shifting movement and light reflections help keep birds from settling too close, all without harm or noise. But the true joy is how unexpectedly lovely they are. They shimmer among the leaves like tiny moons, adding an artistic, ethereal touch to your growing space. And unlike plastic store-bought deterrents, these carry the charm of your own hands, made quietly, mindfully, with love. This project requires no special strength or tools. You can prepare the reflectors in a cozy chair, listening to the birds sing in the background, not to chase them away entirely, just to remind them gently, "This patch is mine for now." It's a peaceful compromise between gardener and nature, one where a forgotten disc gets a new life in service of what you've planted and protected with care. In every spin of the CD and every glint of morning light, something old becomes useful again. And in your garden, everything has a place, even the past. There's something magical about the way small mirrors glint in the sun, like catching a glimpse of something secret, something playful. In this next idea, old CDs become charming little mirror ornaments that you can hang along a wooden fence, a balcony rail, or even the branches of a tree. These DIY ornaments are simple to make, weigh almost nothing, and can be customized to match the mood of your garden, whether rustic, whimsical, or quietly elegant. Begin by collecting a handful of old CDs. If they're scratched or slightly worn, that's even better. The imperfections will reflect the light in more interesting ways. You'll also need some twine or ribbon, scissors, glue, and any lightweight decorations you'd like to add: buttons, lace-dried flowers, or even old keys. Now here's the fun part. Take each CD and decide whether you want to decorate the shiny side or leave it bare for full reflection. If decorating, try gluing a ring of lace or a border of tiny beads around the edge. You can also use stickers, pressed flowers, or stenciled patterns for a more personalized look. To give your ornament a bit of depth, try gluing a small round mirror, decorative stone, or charm right in the center of the disc. This creates a focal point and makes each CD feel like a miniature mandala. Punch a small hole at the top of the CD, thread your twine or ribbon through it, and knot it securely. Make several of these, even just 4 or 5, and hang them at various heights along a fence trellis or garden string line. As the sun moves across the sky, the ornaments catch and scatter the light, casting little flecks of brightness onto the wall or nearby plants. When a breeze passes, they gently twist and shimmer, creating movement and life, even in a still corner. These mini mirrors aren't just decorative. They uplift the mood of a space, draw the eye to neglected nooks, and turn bare fences into soft galleries of light and shape. They remind us that even the smallest touch, a glimmer, a shine, a swirl, can bring joy. That beauty doesn't have to be grand to be meaningful. And the CDs, once forgotten on a shelf, they now dance quietly in the wind, turning every ray of light into a quiet little celebration. Because sometimes all it takes to brighten the world is a reflective heart and a string of homemade magic. Do you ever find yourself savoring the last quiet moments of the day, just after sunset, when the air turns soft and everything feels still? In those gentle twilight hours, even the smallest glow becomes magical. And that's exactly when your handmade CD candle holders come to life. This idea turns old unused CDs into elegant bases for tea light or LED candles. The result is a glowing tabletop or windowsill decoration that's both practical and quietly enchanting. To begin, choose a few CDs with clean surfaces. You'll also want some soft felt lace or decorative paper for the base, and your choice of candle flameless battery candles are best for safety and ease, especially if you'd like to place them near plants or indoors. Start by cutting a circle of felt or cork and gluing it underneath each CD to protect surfaces and keep the candle from sliding. Then decorate the top surface around the center hole. You can glue a ring of dried flowers, use a doily, or wrap the edges in burlap or twine for a rustic cottage look. Even simple metallic paint strokes can add a beautiful finish. Place your tea light candle directly in the center of the CD. When you light it or flip the switch on an LED version, the reflective surface beneath the flame will scatter a soft, radiant glow across the tabletop. The light dances in quiet circles like ripples in a still pond. Arrange a few of these across a table, a narrow garden shelf, or beside your evening chair. They're especially lovely in outdoor spaces, a gentle companion for your end-of-day tea journaling or just watching the stars come out. You can even theme them for different seasons. In the summer, surround the candle with tiny seashells. In fall, use acorns or mini pine cones. Around the holidays, wrap the base with a bit of ribbon or faux holly. These CD candle holders make beautiful gifts too, a thoughtful gesture of warmth and light that doesn't require anything expensive. Just care, just a creative hand. And perhaps as you sit and watch the flicker of your little flame reflected in the disc below, you'll think about how these simple things, light, memory, stillness, all have a way of returning to us. From holding songs to holding candlelight, the CD continues to serve. And maybe that's what we do too. In each season of life, we find new ways to shine, quietly, steadily, beautifully. There's a corner in almost every garden or patio that feels a bit forgotten. A dull wall, a bare fence, a quiet spot where nothing quite seems to fit. But with a little imagination and a few old CDs, that empty space can become a sparkling mirror wall full of light, reflection, and life. This idea is especially useful for brightening shady areas or adding depth to a small garden. And best of all, it can be done entirely while seated, no digging, no hammering, no heavy lifting. To begin, collect about 15-30 old CDs. They don't need to be perfect, a little wear adds character. If you'd like a more artistic look, consider using CDs in varying sizes, full-size, mini, or even ones that are cracked or layered. Next, gather a few simple supplies, strong double-sided outdoor tape or mounting dots for fences, or a lightweight plywood board if you prefer to make a movable display. Optional decorations might include beads, fabric flowers, paint pens, or stenciled borders. Now comes the fun part: layout. You can arrange the CDs in a sunburst pattern, a wave, a spiral, or even as a heart. For a natural rustic look, consider placing them at slightly different angles to catch and scatter the light more dynamically. Attach the CDs shiny side out to your chosen surface using the tape, glue, or nails, depending on your setup. If you're mounting them to a board first, you can add handles or a hook to easily lift and hang the whole piece where needed, or even lean it against a wall. As the sun moves throughout the day, the CDs will reflect light in ever-changing patterns. You'll see beams dance across the fence, sparkle on nearby leaves, and add movement to even the stillest garden corner. Birds may flutter curiously nearby. A neighbor might stop and smile. This garden mirror wall doesn't just decorate, it transforms space. It brings light where there was shade, interest where there was plainness. And it doesn't cost more than what you already have in a forgotten drawer. It's a project that proves again, beauty doesn't always come from big changes. Sometimes it's found in repetition, in a circle, a shimmer, a quiet return of light to the places that need it. Just like us, these CDs have already served one purpose, and now they shine again. Not because they're flawless, but because they reflect everything around them with grace. Have you ever looked at a plain flower pot and wished it had a bit more sparkle? Maybe a favorite plant is blooming beautifully, but the pot itself feels dull or forgotten. This next project brings that forgotten container to life by wrapping it in a mosaic of broken CD pieces, creating a glittering pot that reflects light and pride with every petal. It's a peaceful sit-down project, perfect for a quiet afternoon with a cool drink and birdsong nearby. To begin, gather your materials: an old terracotta or plastic flower pot, a few CDs, strong craft glue or outdoor adhesive, and scissors. Optionally, you may want grout or sealant spray for extra finish, and weatherproofing, though it's not required. First, cut your CDs into small, uneven pieces. If you gently warm the CD first, perhaps leaving it in the sun for a bit, the plastic is easier to cut. Don't worry about perfect shapes. The irregularity adds charm and gives the finished piece a handmade mosaic feel. Then, starting at the top edge of your pot, glue the CD shards one by one, shiny side up. Work your way downward, spacing them just slightly apart like tiles. You can follow a pattern: spirals, waves, or stripes, or simply let your hands guide you in a natural rhythm. If desired, you can fill the spaces between pieces with grout after the glue dries, using a soft cloth to press it in and wipe the surface clean. This gives it a more polished, tiled look. But many prefer to leave the spaces open, allowing light and shadow to dance between the reflective bits. Once finished, let everything dry fully. Then place your favorite plant back inside, perhaps a cheery geranium, a soft trailing ivy, or a rosemary bush that fills the air with memory. Set the pot on a patio table beside your porch chair or on a garden step. As the sunlight moves across it, the CD mosaic will catch the rays and throw subtle rainbows across the ground. A little sparkle here, a glimmer there. And just like that, something old becomes something radiant. This flower pot doesn't just hold soil, it holds a story of reinvention, of care, of the way beauty comes not from starting fresh, but from tending gently to what's already here. And when you glance at it, you might feel that same warmth you gave it reflected back to you. A recycled glow, a second bloom. Do you remember making pinwheels as a child? Watching them spin wildly in the wind each turn, bringing laughter and amazement. With just a few old CDs and some simple materials, you can create your own version of that joy-charming CD whirligigs that twirl and shimmer in your garden like tiny silver dancers. These whirligigs are not only delightful to look at, but they also help deter pests and bring gentle motion to your outdoor space. And like many of our favorite projects, they're easy on the hands, kind to your energy, and filled with possibility. To begin, collect 2 or 3 CDs for each spinner you'd like to make. You'll also need a wooden skewer or thin dowel, a thumbtack or small screw, a bead or spacer, and some strong glue. Optional decorations include paint pens, glitter glue, or small craft jewels. Start by placing 2 CDs back-to-back, shiny sides facing out, and glue them together with a strong adhesive. This gives you a double-sided disc that sparkles no matter how it spins. You can add a third CD crosswise if you'd like a more layered flower-like look. Once the glue is dry, insert a small bead through the center hole of the CD set. followed by the tip of your skewer or dowel. Use a thumbtack, small screw, or hot glue to secure the CD spinner to the stick, just tight enough so it holds but still loose enough to rotate in the wind. The bead acts as a spacer to help it turn smoothly. Now decorate if you wish. You can paint the outer rims of the CD's glue on sequins or draw small swirls and leaves to match your garden. Then simply press the skewer into a planter-raised bed, or even a crack in the patio, anywhere the breeze can reach it. As the wind picks up, your spinner will begin to whirl, catching sunlight with each spin. The CDs glimmer like water, reflecting the sky, the leaves, and all the life around them. And when they move, it feels as if the garden itself is exhaling, turning glowing, full of quiet rhythm. These whirligigs also serve a practical purpose. The spinning and light reflection help deter squirrels, rabbits, and even some insects from settling too close to your vegetables or flowers. But perhaps their real magic is in the reminder they carry, that joy doesn't have to be big to be real. Sometimes it's as simple as a spinning disc in a soft breeze made from something you once thought you'd never use again. Still spinning, still shining, still full of life, just like you. There's something peaceful about dream catchers, their circular shape, the delicate threads, the way they sway in the breeze like whispers of old wishes. And with a little imagination, an old CD can become the center of a beautiful DIY dream catcher, perfect for hanging on a porch near a garden bench, or even beside your bed. This craft isn't just decorative, it's symbolic. A circle that once held music or memories now holds new meaning, protection, creativity, and light. To begin, take one CD and clean it gently. You'll be working mainly on the shiny side, though both sides can be used depending on your style. Next, gather some yarn or soft string, a few feathers or bead scissors, and glue. You might also want a needle or hole punch to help with threading. Start by decorating the surface of your CD. You can paint a small mandala around the center hole glue on pressed flowers, or use metallic pens to draw patterns. Some prefer to keep it simple and let the silver shine through like moonlight. Either way, this center becomes the heart of your dream catcher. Now cut 4 to 6 equal lengths of yarn or string. Thread one end through the CD's center hole and tie it in place. Let the rest hang down freely. On each dangling string, tie a small bead charm, button, or feather, anything light that moves gently in the wind. Next, create a hanging loop at the top by tying another piece of yarn or twine through the outer edge of the CD. If you like, you can wrap the outer rim in ribbon or fabric to soften the edges and add more texture. Once finished, hang your dream catcher from a porch hook, garden trellis, or tree limb. When the wind blows, the strings will dance, the feathers will flutter, and the CD will reflect light, like a guardian of quiet joy. It's a beautiful way to bring art into your garden without weight or strain, just a few gentle motions of the hand and a little heart. These dream catchers also make thoughtful gifts, tokens of peace and protection made from something recycled and reborn. You might hang one near your bed, give one to a friend, or simply let it catch the morning sun as you sip your tea and reflect. And as it turns slowly and silently in the breeze, maybe you'll smile and think, even the smallest circle can hold so much beauty. Even what was once forgotten can still hold dreams. There's something heartwarming about tiny garden critters, not the ones that nibble your lettuce, but the friendly little symbols of joy. Ladybugs, bees, butterflies. This next idea lets you bring them to life using old CDs, adding charm and whimsy to your garden patio or window box. With just a bit of paint and imagination, you can turn a forgotten CD into a cheerful ladybug, a golden bee, or even a playful snail. And best of all, no bending, digging, or complicated tools are required. Let's start with a classic, the ladybug. Take one CD and paint the shiny side with red acrylic paint. Once dry, use black paint or a permanent marker to add a semicircle for the head and dots for the wings. A little line down the middle makes it look like the wings are ready to fly. Glue on 2 googly eyes or draw them in, and if you're feeling playful, twist pipe cleaners into antennae and glue them to the back. For a bee, paint the CD yellow first. Once dry, add black stripes, a small circle for the face, and draw or glue on little wings using translucent plastic or white paper. A touch of glitter glue can make it sparkle in the sun like real bee wings. Want a butterfly? Cut one CD into wing shapes, then use another as the body. Decorate with bold colors and glue both parts together. Add wire or twine for antennae and mount it on a stick to place in a flower pot. You can mount any of these creatures on thin garden stakes, bamboo skewers, or even leftover chopsticks. That way they can perch proudly in flower beds or peek from behind pots, watching over your blooms with a friendly handmade presence. These CD creatures aren't just decorations. They're reminders of life's simple joys, things made by hand, things made for fun. They're especially wonderful to create with grandchildren, but even alone, they bring out that childlike delight we all still carry inside. You don't need a studio or a supply room, just a table, some old CDs, and a bit of color. And when you place that little ladybug or honeybee into the garden, you may find yourself smiling every time you walk past. Because something small, something made with love, has a way of lifting the heart. And that CD, it's not a bug, it's a blessing. Still shining, still playful, still part of your growing world. Have you ever watched light flicker across your wall through a wind chime or crystal? Those tiny moving reflections feel like sunlight playing a melody, quiet, joyful, full of peace. With this next idea, you'll turn old CDs into hanging sun catcher chains that dangle and shimmer in the breeze, perfect for porches, balconies, or a sunny corner of your garden. This project is gentle on the hands and low on effort, but high on charm. All you need are a few CDs, fishing line or twine beads, or small trinkets, and a place to hang your creation where the light can dance freely. Start by selecting 5 or 6 old CDs. You can leave them plain for maximum reflection or decorate one side with paint lace pressed flowers or decoupage if you'd like them to tell a story. The more variety, the more playful the final piece will be. Next, cut several lengths of fishing line. Each one should be long enough to hold a few CDs with some space between them. For each line, thread through the center of a CD and knot it firmly. Then slide on a few beads or charms, knot again, and add the next CD. Repeat this process until you have 2 or 3 strands each with 2 to 3 CDs hanging vertically. Now tie the top of each strand to a branch, a coat hanger, or a simple wooden dowel. If you're feeling artistic, wrap the hanging rod in twine or ribbon to match the theme. Finally, tie a loop at the top for hanging. Hang your sun catcher chain from a hook on your porch, a balcony ceiling, or even a tree branch that gets good sunlight. As the day goes on, the CDs will reflect sunlight in shifting patterns, throwing soft glints of silver, rainbow, and shadow across your garden wall or patio floor. There's a meditative quality to the way they spin and catch the wind. It invites you to pause, to breathe, to just sit and enjoy. And on gray days, they still offer quiet movement, a kind of gentle conversation between wind and memory. This project is also a beautiful way to use CDs that hold sentimental value, maybe old family photo discs or music you used to love. They become not just decor, but soft twinkling reminders of times past, now shining again in your present space. Because even if we've moved on from what these discs once held, there's still beauty in letting them reflect the light of today. Still turning, still glowing, still here with you. Do you have a small patio table that's seen better days? Maybe the top is scratched, the paint worn thin, or it just doesn't sparkle the way it used to. Well, don't throw it out, because with a few old CDs, you can transform it into a shimmering mosaic garden tabletop that reflects both sunshine and your creativity. This is one of those projects that brings real transformation, and yet it's gentle and soothing to do a craft that can unfold slowly over an afternoon or two with a soft breeze, and maybe your favorite music playing in the background. To begin, gather a stack of old CDs. The more colors in their reflective layers, the better. You'll also need strong craft glue or tile adhesive scissors, and optionally, grout sealant spray or a clear resin top coat. Start by cutting your CDs into small, irregular pieces. You can warm them slightly beforehand, a few seconds in warm water or a sunny windowsill to make cutting easier and reduce cracking. Wear gloves if needed. And don't worry about making perfect shapes, the magic is in the mix. Clean your tabletop and decide on your design. You can create spirals, rays, random mosaic patterns, or even try writing an initial or flower shape in the center with the CD pieces. Begin gluing the fragments one by one, shiny side up across the table's surface. Press each piece gently and let the glue dry fully. If you'd like to make the surface smoother and more durable, you can grout between the pieces once the glue is set. Use a plastic spatula or old credit card to apply the grout. Then wipe the surface clean with a damp cloth. For outdoor tables, sealing with waterproof spray or a clear resin coat will help preserve the sparkle in all seasons. When finished, place your renewed table in a sunny corner, perhaps beside your favorite chair or under a tree where the light trickles through. Set a cup of tea on it. Rest your favorite gardening book there or use it to display a blooming pot of flowers. As the light shifts through the day, your tabletop will glitter like dewdrops at dawn. Each piece of CD, once forgotten, now plays its part in a masterpiece, one you made with your own hands. And perhaps each time you sit beside it, you'll be reminded of what's possible with just a little care, a bit of time, and a heart open to second chances. Because beauty doesn't ask for newness, it asks for love. Sometimes, the smallest touches are the most delightful. This final idea is one of those sweet, practical details that adds a spark of charm to any garden patio or windowsill. By turning old CDs into personalized plant markers, you not only help keep track of what you've planted, you also bring a smile every time you look their way. Unlike store-bought plastic labels that fade or crack, these DIY markers are sturdy, reflective, and can be as creative as your mood allows. To begin, you'll need a few CDs. Some wooden dowels or garden stakes, even reused chopsticks work beautifully, permanent markers or paint pens and strong glue. Optional extras, small printed photos, stickers, washi tape, or waterproof labels. Start by choosing the shiny side or label side of each CD as your canvas. Using your marker or pen, write the name of the plant, basil, cherry, tomatoes, lavender, or something a bit more whimsical like Grandma's zinnias or Ken's favorite mint. Now decorate around the name. Draw little vines, leaves, or swirls. Glue on tiny decals or use a photo of the plant in bloom. If your hands are a bit unsteady, don't worry. This is about expression, not perfection. Your garden isn't perfect either, and that's what makes it real. Next, glue the CD onto the top of your stake with the writing facing forward. Let it dry completely before placing it in the soil. What makes these markers special is how they catch the light. The sun bounces off the reflective surface, giving them a kind of gentle glow among the greens and blossoms. On cloudy days, they still offer a bit of presence, like quiet little garden guardians. And because they're up high on stakes, there's no need to bend over to read them. They're easy on the eyes, easy on the body, and easy on the heart. These plant markers are also a lovely way to mark memory spots in your garden. You might write Mom's favorite rose or planted with Emily Summer 2022. They become more than labels, they become stories. Little glimmers of care. Reminders of people, of seasons, of moments spent with your hands in the earth. Because gardening isn't just about growing plants. It's about growing memories. And sometimes all it takes is a recycled disc, a little ink, and a lot of love. Still shining, still pointing the way, just like you. Do you remember those magical evenings when lanterns glowed gently along the garden path, not too bright, just enough to warm the night? With this next project, you can create that same cozy feeling using a few old CDs, a recycled jar, and soft lights. The result: beautiful hanging lanterns that shimmer like moonlight on water. This craft is surprisingly simple and gentle. It's ideal for cozy evenings at the kitchen table with no sharp tools or heavy lifting, just quiet steps and thoughtful hands. Start by gathering a few old CDs, a small glass jar or plastic container, some string or wire for hanging, and a battery-powered tea light or fairy lights. You'll also need strong craft glue and scissors. First, cut the CDs into small pieces like tiles with rounded edges if possible. These will become the mirrored skin of your lantern. Next, take your jar and begin gluing the CD shards to the outer surface piece by piece, with the shiny side facing out. You can cover the entire surface or just add patches, it's up to you. If you'd like a softer glow, leave space between the pieces so the light shines through. Once all the pieces are in place, let it dry completely. Then wrap twine or floral wire around the neck of the jar to create a handle for hanging. Place your flameless tea light or bundle of fairy lights inside the jar and gently secure the lid if using one. Then hang your lantern from a shepherd's hook, a low tree branch, or along your porch railing. When night falls, the little lantern will sparkle with a soft fractured light, not blinding, just enough to remind you that even the smallest gleam has a place in the dark. You can make several of these lanterns and line a garden path or hang just one near your evening chair. They're especially lovely on summer nights, paired with a cup of tea and the quiet sound of crickets nearby. And every time it glows, you'll remember that you made this not from something new, but from something long tucked away. What once held music or memories now holds light. There's something timeless about a photo. A frozen smile, a memory you can hold in your hand. And there's something special, too, about seeing those faces in everyday places, on the fridge door near your potting bench or inside your garden shed. With this next project, you'll turn old CDs into mini photo frame magnets, adding both sparkle and sentiment to your daily space. It's the kind of craft that's deeply personal but wonderfully simple, and doesn't require anything more than what you likely already have around the house. To begin, gather a few CDs, printed photos, wallet-sized or smaller, a pair of scissors, glue magnets, and some decorative bits like washi tape ribbon or pressed flowers. You can also use sticker gems, lace trim, or small dried herbs for an extra garden feel. Start by choosing a photo that you'd love to see more often, maybe a grandchild's smile, a vacation moment, or a favorite flower in bloom. Cut it into a circle or oval small enough to fit inside the center area of your CD. Glue the photo to the label side, or the shiny side if you prefer a reflective border. Next, decorate the area around the photo, the frame of the CD. You can glue a ring of twine, line it with lace, or create a border of hand-drawn doodles and quotes. Some even like to paint the CD edge in soft pastel or metallic tones to give it a vintage glow. Once the front is complete, flip the CD over and glue a small magnet to the back, the kind used for craft projects or fridge decor. Let it dry fully before placing it anywhere. You can now hang your CD photo frame on the refrigerator, a garden shed cabinet, a metal trellis, or even a magnetic strip near your workspace. It adds personality, light, and memory, all in one, a sweet reminder of the people and moments that bring you joy. You might make one for each grandchild, or one for each season. You could even craft a small rotating gallery, old CDs holding new glimpses of your life. Because the most ordinary places like the fridge door deserve a little beauty too. And the most ordinary objects like a CD still have magic left in them. It's not just a frame, it's a reflection of love, of time, of who you are. Have you ever sat quietly watching something spin slowly in the breeze? Hypnotic, calming, almost like time itself was taking a deep breath. This next idea captures that feeling with a beautiful and simple creation. CD wind spinners that twirl in the sunlight like silver spirals, catching both light and the wind in the softest way. Perfect for balconies, garden hooks, or porch corners, these spinners are easy to make, surprisingly elegant, and wonderfully meditative to watch. To begin, you'll need 2 or 3 old CDs, fishing line or lightweight wire, a swivel hook optional, and a bead or small bell for added charm. You can also gather paint markers or stickers if you'd like to add decoration. Though even left bare, these spinners sparkle all on their own. Start by decorating your CDs if you choose to. Try painting only one side to create contrast as they spin, or add translucent color for a stained glass effect. Once dry, stack the CDs back to back so the shiny sides face out. Glue them together, carefully aligning the holes in the center. Now cut a length of fishing line about 2 to 3 feet, depending on how long you want your spinner to hang. Thread it through the center hole of the CD stack and tie a secure knot. If you're using multiple CDs, you can space them along the line with beads or small spacers in between. At the bottom of your spinner, add a bead charm or even a small bell. This gives it balance and a gentle sound when it moves. At the top, tie your line to a swivel hook or keyring, something that lets the spinner turn freely without twisting the string too tightly. Hang it where the wind can reach it, a porch beam, a shepherd's hook, or a garden trellis. Even in the softest breeze, the spinner will turn slowly, sending shimmering light in all directions like a quiet dance of time and memory. There's something deeply peaceful about watching it move. It asks nothing from you but a moment of stillness. And in return, it offers you light, color, and calm. It's a beautiful metaphor too, how something old, no longer useful in the way it once was, can still turn, still shine, still bring joy. And maybe as you sit nearby sipping your morning tea, you'll feel it too. Stillness can be movement, quiet can be music, and old things can still glow. There's something grounding about the ticking of a clock, a gentle rhythm that reminds us the day is unfolding moment by moment. And what better way to keep time than with a clock you've made yourself using a humble CD that once held music memories or movies? This next idea transforms an old disc into a charming CD wall clock, perfect for a garden shed kitchen nook or cozy crafting corner. To begin, gather an old CD, a basic clock movement kit found at most craft or dollar stores, a AA battery, and any materials you'd like for decorating the face number stickers, paint pens, fabric, or even pressed leaves. Start by choosing which side of the CD you'd like to face outward. The shiny side makes for a more modern, reflective look, while the label side can be painted collaged or covered in fabric for a soft, rustic style. If you'd like to personalize it, consider writing little phrases at each hour mark. Tea time, rest, bloom, create, and so on. Now install the clock mechanism. Most kits come with a small post that fits right through the center hole of the CD. From the back side, push the mechanism through, then attach the clock hands on the front in the correct order, hour, minute, and second hand. Secure with the provided washer and nut. Once assembled, pop in the battery and set the time. You'll be surprised how easy it is and how delightful it feels to see the hands begin to move. Now you can add any finishing touches. Glue on number markers if you wish, or simply let the minimalist design speak for itself. A ring of twine, a dash of gold paint, or a simple border of garden-themed stickers can all add charm without overcomplicating. Finally, hang your clock with a small nail adhesive hook or built-in hanger. Place it where it can catch your eye on the garden shed wall beside your favorite chair or near the kitchen window where you watch the birds in the morning. Every glance at this little clock becomes a quiet reminder that time too can be gentle, that the hours are not something to race through but something to savor. And in this clock made from something once discarded, you'll see not just the time, but your own creativity reflected. Tick by tick, moment by moment. Still useful, still beautiful, still moving forward, just like you. Do you ever find yourself drawn to the little corners of life? The quiet shelf, the windowsill garden, the tiny world under a tree. With this final idea, we're creating a miniature stage for magic, a seedy terrarium base or fairy tray, a small sparkling setting for air plants, dried moss, or whimsical treasures. It's perfect for a desk, kitchen counter, or windowsill and requires only gentle hands, a few minutes of calm, and a sense of wonder. To begin, take one CD and clean it gently. The shiny side will serve as your ground-catching light and giving your terrarium that glimmering, otherworldly feel. Next, gather some natural bits and bobs, pebbles, bits of bark, air plants, dried moss, acorns, or even a tiny figurine or marble. Start by gluing a soft ring of moss or twine around the edge of the CD to create a little nest-like border. This helps frame the scene while keeping everything in place. Then arrange your elements, perhaps a small air plant at the center with pebbles forming a path or a dried flower leaning gently to one side. You might add a tiny gnome, a painted rock, or a glass bead that looks like a crystal egg. There's no wrong way to build this. It can be as natural or as whimsical as you like. Some may turn it into a fairy garden, others a peaceful Zen tray with a single, smooth stone. You can even make themed versions, spring, harvest, winter, and rotate them as the seasons change. Once finished, your CD fairy tray can sit quietly on a sunny shelf or beside your favorite reading spot. It's small enough to fit just about anywhere, but big enough to remind you of something important, that tiny things matter. That small beauty still counts. This project is perfect for those days when your energy is low, but your heart still wants to create. No heavy lifting, no big mess. Just you, your imagination, and a quiet circle of light. And maybe as you finish placing that last tiny pebble, you'll realize you didn't just reuse a CD. You made a little world. A soft reminder that life doesn't have to be big to be full. Tiny joys, tiny hands, timeless magic. And so, dear friend, we've come to the end of our journey, one that began with a drawer full of forgotten discs and unfolded into a world of sparkle, warmth, and creativity. Who would have thought that these little circles, once spinning with music, memories or photos from long ago, could become so many things? Garden butterflies, wine chimes, mosaic tables, candle holders. Not only objects, but quiet expressions of care and imagination. Each project we explored wasn't just about decorating a space. It was about rediscovering what's already within reach, about turning trash into treasure, about honoring the beauty of small things, of aging things that still have so much to offer. You didn't need new supplies, expensive tools, or youthful energy. Just your hands, your time, and your heart. And in doing so, you gave those CDs, and maybe even a few corners of your own life, a gentle second chance. Because this stage of life isn't about rushing. It's not about proving anything. It's about choosing what matters, tending to the quiet joy of creation, and making beauty not for anyone else's applause, but simply because it brings you peace. Maybe it's a glittering butterfly on your windowsill, or a sunburst mirror catching the light near your chair. Maybe it's a garden stake that reads lavender in your own handwriting. Each one a soft reminder your hands still create beauty. You are not past your prime. You are in the golden hour of your own story. The warm light just before evening, when everything glows a little softer, a little deeper. So tell me, dear friend, which idea brought you joy today? Which forgotten object might you give a second life to? Leave a comment below. I'd love to know what you'll make. And if you'd like more gentle inspiration for upcycled gardens, cozy corners, and soulful living, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, may your days be calm. Your hands stay creative, and your heart always remember this truth. You are still shining, just like those CDs, just like the sun in your garden. Happy crafting, dear friend.